Let's get Urmil Shah, research analyst at IDBI Capital, into this conversation. Urmil, first up, I just want to talk about the smart gains that have come in at listing for this one. We know that this was an undervalued IPO, but where do you see the fair value for BSE based on its nearest rival, which is the MCX that trades about 39 to 40x?
Yeah, so clearly, one major difference between MCX and BSE is that right now BSE is the only listed security platform available. So to that extent, there is clearly a scarcity premium for BSE. And if you look at their business, while yes, their market share is relatively less than compared to NSE, but the business as a whole provides significant entry barriers. And we believe that, at least on the equity front, they can clearly maintain market share between 13 to 15% going forward. So we would still recommend a hold from a long-term point of view, as we believe that BSE provides a very good investment opportunity. And going forward over next year or so, there would also be a value unlocking opportunity available where the planned listing of CDSL takes place, which would also add to the valuation of the company. So to summarize, we would continue to recommend a hold even at this price.
Urmil, right, it's turning out to be a stellar listing, and let's remind our viewers it's the first listing of 2017. Urmil, tell us, investors who could not get shares allotted in the IPO, or rather the offer for sale, would you advise anyone to enter at current levels, and are these valuations fine?
So if we look at the valuation point of view, then at 1150, if I analyze their first half numbers for FY17, now the valuation is very near to MCX. So immediately in the near term, it would be only the scarcity premium that would drive the stock price. But from a long-term point of view, I think if anybody has a year and a half to 2 year view, clearly because the market right now is still under-penetrated, I think from a 1.5 to 2 year point of view, one can still look at this valuation. But at the near term, because the valuation is now similar to what MCX is trading at, the near term gains might be limited.
As far as the financials of this one go, Urmil, it hasn't really done much in the last 4 to 5 years. Where really is the growth going to come from for something like a BSE? It already has only just about 15% of the market share. NSE is also up for listing, and we'll just talk about that. But really, what are some of the growth prospects for a BSE that would make it attractive for somebody for the long term?
Sure. So, the main rationale for us recommending this IPO was that the business model is really strong. You have significant entry barriers to the business model, and right now it's the one of the kind company listed. I agree that they haven't grown, at a good pace in the last 3 to 4 years. But we also need to keep in mind that they have been late entrants in the derivatives market, which is one area where clearly NSE has scored much ahead. So going forward, derivatives and currency should also start contributing to its growth. Also, as regards the headline numbers, with whenever the stake sale in CDSL happens, to that extent, their growth will also get impacted. But we believe that the investors should look at it in a way that at the end of the day would be value unlocking for the investment.
Right. Let's tell our viewers that CDSL is the subsidiary of BSE Limited, and as per SEBI guidelines, they will have to reduce the stake to about 24%, and which will actually impact the top line going forward for the company. And almost 60% of the bottom line is coming from CDSL. But as an associate company, they will be reflecting the profits on the bottom line, but it will be the top line which will get impacted. Urmil, you were talking about the exchange business, which is pretty much attractive. Well, we know NSE IPO is also around the corner. We don't have the valuations yet, but we definitely know that they score higher on the market share front, be it a cash segment or derivative side. So if you recommended to subscribe for BSE IPO, if I were to compare both NSE, BSE, NSE could just be 10,000 crore offer for sale. That's what the street is looking at. If one was to invest after the listing of NSE also, which exchange stock price, according to you, would be more attractive to park your money in?
Yeah, so as you said, the price discovery of NSE is yet awaited. So it would be unfair to compare, the valuation at this point of time. But clearly on the business front, NSE has grown, while they've also grown in single digit, but the growth has been better than that of NSE. So once NSE gets listed, of course, NSE will be a better opportunity to look at, subject to, the valuation at which, the IPO comes.
Urmil, before we let you go today, your price target on a BSE from a one-year horizon?
So we have not written a note after the listing, and we had given a subscribe to the IPO at 806. So we will have to look at how the second half numbers go along, and what is the kind of listing that CDSL provides, because that is something which only future will tell, and it would be difficult to put a price to it. But as I said, from a 2-year horizon, directionally we think that this can still give you good returns.